This is Brooklyn Verse, and tonight we're taking on the 2018 NBA Draft. Who were the winners and losers? Did the Knicks manage to screw it up again? Let's get in there.
Don't go Bridgeside!
Hello, and welcome to another installment of Brooklyn Verse. I'm DB, this is the analyst Chris Ventra, and this is Philly Cags. Okay, so tonight we're discussing the 2018 NBA Draft, right? Phil, I'm going to start with you because this is a real sour subject for the Knicks and the Knicks faithful. So how did they do this year? What did they do this year?
Well,
I already know, but go ahead.
They messed up by picking ninth. They should have lost all their games. But anyway, we'll go to the
Of course.
They picked ninth, and actually, I'm not that upset with the Knicks pick. At first,
You like Knox?
At first, you don't know much about Knox, but let's look into him a little more. He's one of the youngest players in the draft. He's 18 years old.
Very good.
He's tall. He can shoot. And he can still grow. I mean, he's only 18. Yeah. Paul George gained 2 inches in his career, in his second year of the career. So I'm not saying that's not why you drafted him. But he's a shooter, he's athletic, and he's young. What do you need? You need a guy with high upside on the Knicks.
Of course.
You got Porzingis, who might not even be back, for the whole year next year. Maybe not even back for at all the year. You still don't know. So take a guy that you can start building around piece. It does not have to be a guy that you get now that's going to score. Right. I actually like Knox's potential a lot. He's long, he shoots. I hear things about poor man's Kevin Durant. Anytime you start throwing, I don't care what it is. Yeah. Exactly. You start throwing the name Kevin Durant for a number 9 pick. I actually like it. I think they rolled the dice a little bit, but I think it was something the Knicks should have done.
You don't think maybe Michael Porter?
Well, that's right. So I'm going to ask you.
Yeah.
You threw around Michael Porter.
Yeah, went 14 to the Nugs.
I mean,
I think was a steal.
Do you think that's the biggest steal of the draft, though?
Yeah, I think Michael Porter should have been a top 8 pick.
Right.
Like, he should have been one of the top 8 players to go. I think that's why it was weird. The Knicks had the 9 spot. It was a weird spot.
It was either him or Porter.
But they ended up having Porter drop to them. And I think that was a guy that should have went top 10. Like, I think you got to take that guy. You're talking about upside talent, currently ready, everything, right?
That's true, but you have one big thing. It's like it happens in football, happens in draft. This guy had back surgery at a young age.
Right.
Now, some guys, this might never bother them. Well, back surgery, it's a tough thing. It's not like, like the broken knee or the broken leg or the ACL. Back surgery is a tough one to come back from. Look at Gronkowski.
Yeah.
To go to a guy that a lot of people know. 3 back surgery he's on now. He's had 3. He's 28 years old.
I know.
He's lost a lot of time to his back. J.J. Watt lost a lot of time to his back. So there is something to a back surgery just giving you a little hesitation.
Right.
But he could absolutely be a steal. You're just rolling the dice on him. If he stays healthy, the Nuggets got a great steal.
I will say, despite the injury, which obviously kept everybody off him in the top 10, I would say, though, that he was somebody that smart basketball people thought was going to go 6th, 7th, or 8th, and he dropped past a lot of teams. Yeah. And he still, a lot of people think, might be the best player in the draft.
I was surprised by how far he did drop.
Yeah.
I wasn't too upset the Knicks. You're right. If it wasn't for the injury, he's there.
I guess not exactly. They went the safer play.
Yeah. No, but that's what it wasn't the exact safer because this kid, he's potential, and I like the fact that he's potential because the Knicks aren't looking to win next year.
Right.
Let's be honest.
And that's what I mean by safer players, like maybe a guy that can grow and hasn't had these injuries in the past.
But knowing the Knicks, if Porter drafted him, he would have been out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for the next 2 years.
He would have hurt his back.
So,
yeah. Porzingis was a great draft pick, though, by them. The greatest draft pick they've had in years.
Oh, since Ewing.
Yeah. Well, actually, what was David Lee? Did they draft David Lee?
You know what? That's a great
David
call.
Lee was a great draft.
That's a great
But
call.
then they got rid of him.
David Lee,
and
David Lee was great value. That's a great call.
Yeah. But I was just going to say, even with that, even if some people think it wasn't a great pick, Kevin Knox, you can't say it was that bad. I mean, the Nets really blew it worse than anybody.
I mean, look,
they blew it 8 years ago, and they gave away all these picks.
They're still blowing it. They're blowing it over and over
They
again.
had 2 later picks. They obviously went with that model of stocking. They got 2 international picks. You stock those guys away. One of them might not be here for 3 years.
Which is the first round pick.
One of them think Musa, they think actually does want to play in the U.S. and does want to play sooner than later. Okay. I don't think next year still, but maybe in a year they'll get him.
That's rebuilding for the next 7-8 years.
They have to, yes.
I understand.
Yes. They just paid for Dwight Howard, though, so maybe they're not. I don't know.
I disagree.
No. Dwight Howard freed up cap room.
I disagree with.
No, what I'm saying, like building for, like they're playing for now. That's
I
somebody they
disagree
expect to be
with,
productive.
like,
I mean,
I disagree with NBA having like baseball, football. I understand rebuilding for like the next 3, 4, 5 years maybe. I can't see any team, any sport looking past 5 years of rebuilding,
Right.
and especially the NBA where 1 or 2 players can turn your whole franchise around.
to tell you the truth, though, that's helpful in the NBA specifically because it's a cap room saver. Those stocked away guys.
Yeah.
That's part of the deal. They can
I
save a couple of
understand.
million on doing that.
Yeah.
That's why. It's somebody that they don't have to keep
But
on the
that's
roster through the
essentially-
draft. Yeah.
The 29th pick taking the Bosnian player is essentially what you can call in the dictionary a wasted pick.
No,
If he
again,
doesn't-
Essentially a wasted
No,
pick.
no, no. Actually, if you look up
yes and
wasted,
no, yes
if you
and
look
no.
up wasted pick in a dictionary, you'll find Frederick Weiss getting dunked over by Vince Carter because he never came to the NBA. So that's a wasted pick.
Well,
So you're
wasted
rolling
pick.
the dice.
Well,
but
Phil, I'm
Something
going to kick
European
this one. I am going to kick this one over to you, and I'm going to say, do you think there was anything that was overly surprising about this year's draft?
You know what? What I'll say I was surprised about, because I did want to talk about him too,
Yeah.
was Luka Doncic.
Okay.
I was surprised that the Hawks traded him, to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah.
That's why, you know,
Okay.
the Mavs, and I guess I'll say why I was surprised about it is because I love the Mavs move of going up and getting him. You know, I know
sure.
they gave up a first round for next year, but this is a team that the Mavs, they have a couple pieces in place. Dennis Smith Jr. is a
Wait,
very
didn't
good
the
I do
Mavs
like
player.
trade
Dennis
back?
Smith Jr.
The Mavs traded up
Oh,
together.
nice
Well,
trade
the
up, yeah.
Hawks drafted him at 3, and the Mavs jumped and
that's
got
a
him.
great play by the
I
way.
will
Yeah.
add this though. The Hawks' move was it was based on the fact that they would get Trae Young, though, correct?
I
It was his
agree.
availability that
Yes.
he wasn't drafted at 4.
You're right. No,
Yes.
you're right. No, yeah, it was.
They wanted
it
Trae Young,
had
it sounded like
it
that
had
was
to
the
be
pick,
Trae
yeah.
Young. But the
Kind
reason
of like
why,
the Jets in the NFL.
they want Trae Young. The reason why I'm surprised about it is because looking at the two of them, I really like Doncic's upside. Trae Young, yeah, he's more of a point guard. Doncic has more of the off-ball ball, but Trae Young scares me a little, to be honest, and that's why it surprised me. The Hawks had him, meaning Luka, and they gave him away for Trae. And Trae Young scares me. You know, he looked great at the beginning of the college season last
Right.
year, and then he really fell off. He took a lot of bad shots. Like, this guy thinks he's Steph Curry sometimes. He would run up and just pull up and shoot just horrible shots over and over again. So.
Yeah,
Isn't in some
he didn't
circles
carry well at the end of the year.
Isn't in a lot of circles like Luka Doncic was supposed to be like the first pick overall,
Yeah,
like
one of the best
player coming out.
One of the best players.
I mean,
if he wasn't a European
Right.
player,
I think that
because
hurts you.
Because
Yeah.
sometimes, look, it's a different game. You're not
Yeah.
specifically playing the same game, so sometimes
Right.
the translation is a little off.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You have guys like
I
Darko
mean,
Milicic, things like that.
Right. How often, I mean, there is, in the current NBA, there's
getting-
a lot of good European players.
It's-
Dario Saric, you got
Nowitzki,
Vucevic,
Porzingis, yeah.
Sure.
all
All
these
right.
guys.
It's getting a lot more similar. The European games are getting
It's
a
getting
lot more
closer,
similar to the
yeah.
NBA game, I think.
Oh, yeah.
In the
But it's
level
still a
of
risk.
talent, it's just a little bit more risk. That's why he was taking third. So it's not like the risk was that big.
No,
But
yeah, they
you
went
had
after
guys
him
like the
still.
Suns had, took Ayton because they have Booker one.
Right.
They have
It was a
Booker,
good pick for them.
And it is a good pick.
And I think the Kings made the right pick, too. They needed a power forward center because they got rid of
I think
Cousins.
Luka went where he should have. I just wouldn't have traded him if I was the Hawks.
And
I think he should have went 3. I just wouldn't have traded him.
I'm going to
That's
finish
my
with this
pick.
one. My personal surprise in the draft was Grayson Allen. I thought a guy like this, like a 4-year player, a guy that's usually like this, like a team guy, he does a little bit of everything, but, nothing masterfully. He's a great shooter, don't get me wrong, but a guy like that usually goes to a system team that doesn't need him to play. He's going to come and be a 7th or 8th guy. I figured he'd go to a team like the Warriors, like a Sixers, like a Celtics, a team that doesn't need him to go in there and provide. And he went to the Jazz. The Jazz went and took him as their first pick, and he's going to go in there and going to be expected to play. And that's surprising to me. A guy like that usually falls big
But you
time.
never know. I mean, where was Don Mitchell drafted last year?
Donovan Mitchell was like
11,
yeah,
10?
it was like 10, 11, or 12, I think.
So you're talking a 10, 11, or 12 pick, Donovan Mitchell, who, ended up being basically the best rookie by far of the class. You know
Of
what I
that
mean?
specific draft class.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, if you don't,
Yes,
Ben
that's what I'm
Simmons,
saying. That's
forget
specific.
about
Yeah, we
that.
get it. Yeah,
Right.
sure.
So, but Don Mitchell does it all defensively. Like you're talking about well-rounded players. Sometimes that's what you need to rebuild a team. I mean, Kawhi Leonard helped San Antonio when he first came to become a great player, superstar player. He's a well-rounded player.
Well, it's funny you say that, though, because they're going to be playing together, and we'll see how that works out.
Yeah.
Two guys that battled it out literally on the college floor.
Allen and Mitchell.
It's going to be great.
That's pretty sick.
All right, and that wraps it up. This is another chapter of Brooklyn Verse. You all have a good night.
Go Bridgeside.
Yeah, that's right, baby. We out. France winning the World Cup.
NBA draft.
I know, but I like to talk about the World Cup.